So my only advice is just to be curious and be consistent and stop waiting to be perfect because digital marketing is a field which is constantly changing.
Hi, welcome to the JYU for You podcast, a space where we talk about student life in Jyväskylä and being a student in JYU. Today, our guest will be Saira Umair, who is a student in the Digital Marketing and Corporate Communications Master's degree. We will talk about her journey from Pakistan to Finland via Dubai and the relevance that digital marketing has in the modern world. If you want to learn more about the program or apply to JYU, just follow the links in the description of the video or check JYU's website. Enjoy! Welcome, Saira. How are you doing?
Thank you, Kokin. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So please, can you introduce yourself?
Okay. So I'm Saira Umair and I'm originally from Pakistan, but from quite few years, 6 to 7 years, I can say, I've been living in the UAE and staying there because I got married and my husband was working there. We made a small family there and everything was fine. But now, from year and a half, I'm here at Jyväskylä studying digital marketing and corporate communication. And here I am.
Nice, fantastic. So you moved here with your whole family.
Yes, of course. First, I moved with my son, who was only 4 years old then. But then I wanted my husband and whole family here. So now he's here.
Nice. So why did you choose digital marketing?
Actually, I did my bachelor's in business and marketing, so my interest in marketing was naturally there. And when I moved to the UAE, I was like doing nothing. I thought that there were a lot of idle hours that I was sitting home. And then that's when I decided that I wanted to work and do something meaningful. And that was the point when I joined a training and development company in Dubai. And the experiences I had there is has completely, you know, changed me in what I am today. So I started from little marketing, content writing, editing, managing social media, and whatnot. I mean, completely everything. So it's been 4 years now that I'm doing these things now. So because of that support, continuous support, and my husband's he really wished that I continue my higher studies. So we thought, why not choose some abroad or a better country like Finland? So we decided for Finland, the happiest country in the world.
All right, fantastic. That's a very interesting story. Like I have never been to Dubai. All I know about it is like what you see like on TV and the huge skyscrapers, and it looks like a very like developing nation, and like they do a lot of like cutting edge work. So I think like I don't know what's working in marketing there like, but it
You could say it's not even developing, it's a developed country
yeah.
because from where it had started, you cannot imagine the development, and especially the city Dubai. It's totally different to Jyväskylä, the skyscrapers, and totally, you could understand our transition coming from seeing the skyscrapers daily and then to a totally different world where it's all natural. So you could imagine it very well.
Nice. Yeah, like I'm thinking about like I thinking of the building is in my own country in Uruguay, and I can even think about what it must be like being like under one of those like huge skyscrapers, and
Yeah,
especially when you look at pictures of what was Dubai like 30 years ago when it was
exactly.
just like fishermen's villages, and now it's like all
It
right,
was all
it's
desert, yeah.
crazy.
And now it has the biggest building in the world.
Yeah, that is that is crazy. So how will you describe, because all of us are exposed to digital marketing in a way, so you open your phone, you get ads, you get but you also see the influencers that are like doing their own stuff, and like we are exposed to it. But how would you describe digital marketing and corporate communication to someone who's never heard of the field or who doesn't understand what it means?
I think I would describe it very simply because digital marketing is how brands talk to people. I mean, every post you see, every video you see, or everything you makes you think differently that, oh, it influences me. This doesn't come, accidentally. There is a lot of strategy, communication, creativity, storytelling, and a lot of data behind that. So it's like getting the right message to the right audience at the same time, at the right time. Corporate communication, on the other hand, is how company communicates with the world and its people. So basically, it's the voice of the organization, how it wants to communicate the brand, and overall, in this, everything comes in this umbrella. These two fields join together to show how people actually connect with the brand, trust it, and eventually purchase it.
Yeah, and I think like that has also changed in the last couple of years in a way that if I think of like a few decades ago, it was like the brand chooses what to show. And
Exactly.
you have like more, I'm thinking like of the word of Mad Men or things like that. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, the people don't know what the brand is really doing, is what we show. But nowadays, like you are like exposed the
It's
whole
all
time.
targeted. It's
Yes,
all
so
targeted.
and like everybody knows what the brand is doing, so maybe you want to say, okay, I want to show this thing about my brand, but then like you have to be like also authentic in a way because like I think it's easier to deceive people in a way in the time of social media. I don't know if you.
Exactly. It's not about, no, it's not about posters or advertisements or posting pretty visuals. It's a lot more in digital marketing than you can think.
Yeah, I'm thinking like when you see like the influencers doing their stuff, and sometimes it's like, okay, this is a 40-second video that looks extremely silly but connects to
Yeah,
you, and then you see it
connects you.
has like 1,000
Exactly.
likes and many views and whatever. And then you realize that in order to make that 40-second silly video
Exactly.
it takes ages to do and to edit and to find, and then to think like, I remember like people thinking like, oh, what time is the best time in the day to post my pictures of my last trip? Just I want
Exactly.
to show you, oh, I went to Turku and I want to show off my trip pics. And I can't imagine when it's like a company that is investing millions in a product and it say, okay, it really matters, like those kind of things. So
So
it's
that's when you understand how powerful the content is and how responsible its use should be. You become more conscious, like you're talking about influencers. I think they do show what your real life is. Sometimes not, because they're being, some people think that they can't relate because they're showing luxurious brands or they're showing off, but there are some influencers who really show what daily life is. So their actions and what they say and what they think really influence people.
so you have been on the field for quite a long time, and now you are on your path to finishing your degrees, hopefully next semester. So, being an expert on digital marketing, what are some misconceptions that you see about digital marketing that people have?
Okay, so yes, one of the misconceptions that I come across is that you need to have a certain background to join digital marketing. No, even if you have little experience in um, some of the things that could be editing, content writing, SEO, and much more. So you could join that digital marketing course, and it's not necessary that I came from marketing. You could also come from business and marketing. No. And then second misconception is very interesting, that digital marketing is all about social media, using Instagram and Twitter. No, it's much more. It's like using analytics, data, knowing what your customer wants, dealing with customer data, branding, and customer insights, much more. So you have to deal with a lot of things, but it's not important that you choose all of these. You could specialize in one of these and be the best and one of them.
Yeah, I think like it's also a field that has been changing a lot in the last like 30 years ago, like there was no digital communications, and now we are talking about like SEOs and video ads in YouTube and Instagram, but like 10 years ago Facebook was the king, and now
No.
it's not so much, and maybe like we don't know what's going to happen in 10 years. So people applying for this program now, when they graduate in 2-3 years, like it may be a whole different world as well. So like also learning the skills to adapt, I think
Exactly.
maybe
There's a lot more you could do because, for example, my classmates, most of them have been working in the same field, and a lot of them have a very good conversation with me. So I can't say that I'm surrounded by fresh graduates in digital marketing because you still have a lot to do remotely in digital marketing. Most of us are doing it, and we even don't know that, oh, we have been editing videos, we have been writing blogs, we have been creating content in so many ways.
Yeah, I think like as a field of study, it's also very interesting that if you're studying to be a teacher, for instance, like you're not going to be teaching until you reach a certain degree of like, okay, now you know enough to teach.
Yeah.
But with digital marketing, it's something that you can like you can start doing it as you are. Like you are doing it in a way every time you choose. Okay, which picture I will post to which profile picture do I choose for my WhatsApp account or whatever. Like you are choosing how to sell like your own image. So in a way, like it's like I find it more relatable, and maybe like when people come to the studies, will have more experience in what they do.
I mean, nowadays you could also see children making vlogs, and specifically, I've seen the trend of gaming. I wouldn't say that starts from digital marketing, but then at this age where they're starting to create content, will lead them to a better future.
Yes, I remember like when I was a child, like the dream was to be a football player and be super famous, but mostly because I wanted to play football all day. And now you see that also like the new idols of the new generations are like the super YouTubers and
They want to
streamers.
be gamers,
Then
streamers, exactly.
and then you see okay, and then you try to see the content, and it's just like one guy that is like recording himself playing in a computer game, and it's like okay, but if people see that, like I remember like one time I went to a friend's house, and I thought he was like playing in his computer. No, he was like watching someone play, and
Exactly.
he tells me, but you watch people play football.
Yeah.
Like, why can't I watch people play Fortnite? And it's like, and the streamer who was like recording himself was like, okay, like people have found like new paths of um, and new horizons and opportunities, and I think like that is also fantastic. All the thought that is behind that, that is like, oh, it's just guy playing on his computer,
Yeah.
but then it's like, okay, which game is he playing? Like, who are his supporters or his sponsors, and like why would a sponsor choose to fund a streamer instead of like going to put a billboard in the street, because like you're reaching the audience that you
Exactly.
want. So thinking about, we were talking about like your last semester of your studies, where do you think like your career could lead to from starting from getting this degree?
I think the interesting thing about digital marketing, as I mentioned, that you can start from anywhere. And the best thing is that you can work remotely from anywhere in the world. Right now, we all, like the ones I know in digital marketing, are working remotely. Someone as social media manager, content creator, market analyst, and a market analyst, and much more. So the best thing is that you don't need to figure out where to go. You just search remotely what you need to do, or be your own content creator. I mean, do your own marketing.
Yeah,
That's the best way to start up. I'm talking about starting up. So you have a lot of things and areas to go.
that is very very interesting. So thinking more about like the structure of the studies. So what does a typical week or look like for you in your studies?
Okay, so when you talk about the structure, I would like to mention that apart from other major subjects like digital marketing strategy, environment, and then digital marketing interaction, these are the cores which you will study. But apart from this, take those subjects which would actually complement them. For example, when I started out this course, I selected digital marketing branding as electives, social media, and some of the basic subjects that would actually complement. Although you don't need those at this stage, but then they would actually help you just refresh your knowledge about the course.
Nice, that's interesting. And also, like something about Finland and the Finnish study system. Me as a student myself, that you get a lot of freedom of which courses you can choose, and that really helps you like to like start pointing your studies in a direction that you want, like before even graduating, and like the scope of choices that you have is also like pretty interesting. What advice would you give to someone who's interested in the subject?
Okay, so my only advice is just to be curious and be consistent and stop waiting to be perfect because digital marketing is a field which is constantly changing and you need to adapt new changes every day. And also, I would say that never underestimate the power of soft skills such as communication, empathy, and creativity. That's it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I also like soft skills is something that I see like sometimes it's taken for granted, or people will say, "Oh, to succeed in this career, you need to be like a master on all the technical aspects of that." But then, like sometimes it's just about like being nice to people, or like trying to understand how to work together in a team to develop the like whatever the brand's objectives are.
Exactly. Teamwork is so crucial that you need to have these skills. Otherwise, how are you working alone?
Yeah. So, drawing from your academic experience, what current world issue that you see can you understand better thanks to your studies?
I would say in digital marketing, you understand that how powerful and responsible is the use of social media. You see how you talk about influencers, you see how their beliefs and their advertisements actually influence people and their thinking. So you need to, it makes you more conscious of what you create and what you consume.
Yeah, like I have just seen yesterday in the newspaper that Australia was banning the use of social media for people under 16 years old,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can't open an account, and that also like puts a lot of burden into the like the Instagram and TikTok and the social media platforms, because they will have to be spending a lot of money in those kind of like age controls to make sure that people don't. So, do you see like these kind of things as a change that like the world is leading to, or is it like too big to be controlled?
I don't think this is a wise decision. For me, I think balance is the word
Yeah.
because you are already raising digitally intelligent children and you can't stop them from using social media.
Hmm.
I mean, you could have those age barriers and certain parental controls,
Hmm.
but then also platforms like TikTok, you could actually ban them, which is not important. But then where our generation is leading, I think the balance is really important. We need to have a balance between what they're actually thinking, their creativity, and what they're searching for. You need to have certain controls but not actually completely banning those platforms.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like this is a world like that didn't exist a couple of years ago. So like it's really like we still don't know what are the effects of the things, and there's like still studying. Like I remember like I opened my Facebook account when I was in university, and it was already like wow. And now like you see like I think like in a way my childhood was similar to my father's childhood, that it will be to my children in a way, because it's a completely different, a new world. And
So do you remember how our dinners used to be? If you could just compare our dinners from 2000s and now 2020s and 25, I mean, you could picture two pictures in your mind, one happy family having
Mm.
meals, and now the meals have turned into screens and then having plates and everybody using their own screen and then eating.
Yeah, I see it in the library, in the restaurant, in the university, that you go in. Like usually, like I just like get my tray and I start looking around. Sometimes I come by myself, but then oh, I know that guy, and then I like I don't want to eat alone. And then I see a lot of people also that they are like headphones
Exactly.
and like watching some series while they are eating. And I get it because like I do it in my house when I'm alone. I turn on the TV and I'm eating, watching something. But also like this is the like the new world that we live in. So it's a
That's
very
our generation, but I think these things really isolate you from socializing.
yeah.
The children at this age, whatever they're doing, they're actually isolating themselves.
Going back to the topic of your own field, to help understand more like how let's think about like for instance these headphones.
Yeah.
So imagine like I am this brand that I can like produce them. They are like very affordable, but they are like actually like really good. So like I don't want to mislead people, but I really want to create a digital marketing campaign to sell these fantastic headphones. Like
Yeah.
what would it look like?
Okay, so for your headphones, first you need to figure out what your objectives are. Either you want to increase your sales, or you want your new brand awareness, or you want more traffic on your website. So once you have those objective what you want to show people, then you target your audience. Is this the headphone for the gamers or social media managers or just normal people who want to listen music? And then you're going to decide your strategy, what strategy or what brand line I'm going to use. Maybe you're going to say, hear your world your way.
Mm. Yeah.
And then when you have decided your target audience and the concept, you're going to decide the platforms. What platforms do I want? The young audience or the gamers, I would say, they would use TikTok. They would like to use Instagram. So you would choose those two platforms. And then when you have targeted that audience on those platforms, you are going to decide what kind of ads do you want. Then you're going to have those ads. It's your choice, have it or not to have it, depends on your objectives. And then finally, you measure your success.
Nice. Like I found like the measuring part like also like very interesting in a way that it's basically you can say okay, I put this ad and then if I pay €1, it gets me I don't know 100 views. It's not like the, and then for every 100 people that see, maybe one will buy it. So in a way, like it's getting closer to say, okay, I need to spend €1,000 to sell €5,000 in
That's
headphones
when
in
you're
a
going
way.
to need us, the
Yeah,
digital marketers. Yeah.
because I remember like from my own country like companies who were like they just wanted to sell whatever they wanted and like without any like they say oh I have an idea for an ad and they will just like send it and it's like well, like how did they think that this ad will sell this product and in a way like when you see like how it like leads and I think like with the digital things like it's harder to measure how many people see the billboard
Yeah.
and then go and buy the products but it's easier to see like how many people saw the ad and then click learn more and then they went to the web page and click on buy.
Exactly.
So in a way like we are going towards a more like data driven world
Data driven world.
and that gives a lot of opportunity for like companies but also like for creators and freelancers.
Freelancers.
So yeah. So thinking about the end of your studies now you're in the process of writing your thesis. How does a thesis in digital marketing and corporate communications look like?
Okay, so it's not very complex to make you understand that how thesis would look like. You would take, for example, you talk about world issues, you could take some of the world issues that you want to raise awareness on. For example, my thesis is on social media ads and how it affects the consumer buying behavior. And since I wanted to understand how it has the consumer trust and consumer engagement, I took them as mediator. Those are very technical terms. So I would just talk about the main topics. This is one of the topics I am working on. But then I've also seen that one of my classmates is working on how AI personalization has affected those consumer buying behavior, etc., etc. So I think you could take any of the aspect of marketing or related to business and you could work on it. It's not very complex.
Nice. And what does your data collection look like for your thesis?
Yeah, so we have selected Finnish market for now, but then when we start using through convenience sampling, I think that would be pretty hard because here Finnish market is really hesitant on giving out data, especially if it's related to social media.
Mm,
So yes, we are still figuring it out.
nice. Because I think like for some fields you will go towards more like qualitative
Yeah,
approaches, but I think like in digital marketing, like there is so much data,
quantitative.
so
Yeah.
quantitative is
It
like
could be qualitative.
yeah.
You could take interviews if it's related to, if you want to, see other societal, for example, you say, I want to study societal impacts, for example, misinformation or something like privacy issues. It can
Mm,
be qualitative in that case.
yeah, and that is very interesting because the like I think like if you think about like Meta or X, like Google, like they are the larger companies in the world. Like they are among the largest, and we have not yet seen the end of like where is the like AI revolution going to lead us. So in a way, like trying to understand more like this phenomena is also very important and interesting, and also like relevant for our like everyday lives in a way.
Exactly. It's actually everywhere now. Even digital marketing, even digital marketing experts are understanding how AI personalization works, and that's where your thesis will help you. And I've also seen some companies reaching students because they have been working with the same tool and they want to explore more. So that gets you more chances of being hired or working as a trainee.
So thank you, Saira, for being here with us and sharing your experience. And now that the joint application is coming, so it will be open between January 7 and January 21st. Like, how could the potential student reach you if they wanted to learn more about you and your program?
Okay, so easiest way to reach me is through the JYU website. Go to student ambassadors and reach us out on Unibuddy.
So thank you very much and wish you the best.
Thank you, Hawking, for having me as a guest.